Welcome to the breakdown, episode 641, sponsored by Gemini. That's right, the good folks at Gemini. Go to gemini.com/David G to look up or to find out more about the credit cards that Gemini has to offer, all issued by WebBank. That's right, every single credit card is issued by WebBank. They got the Bitcoin credit card, got the XRP credit card, and app, the Solana credit card. Gemini.com/David G for more. Also, you see my picture in that link with on that Gemini link? That's right. You click that link, you go to Gemini, you sign up, you trade $1,000 in crypto, you get $100 in Bitcoin. Terms apply. Terms apply. Terms apply. All right, let's go. What is going on, my people? Episode 641, sponsored by Gemini. We are here, produced by Gokhshtein Media. Shout out to the people behind the scenes working their asses off. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. I told you. Kept on telling you guys. 12/19/2025. Save the date. Because at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have Michael Saylor on, and we will talk about, obviously, we'll talk about Bitcoin and the markets. Michael Saylor has changed, which is crazy to say. This is really crazy to say, but he's changed my perspective on Bitcoin again. You guys already know I love Bitcoin. But he has changed my perspective on Bitcoin again. We'll talk about that, though. We'll try not to be boring. I'm smiling because you're not going to have a boring show. It'll be pure entertainment. I'm sure Michael will laugh out of it. But it's 12:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Friday. The markets are a bit up. Bitcoin's a bit up. I don't trust it right now. I don't trust it. 2 days, the last 2 days, there's going into the third. Nope. It is what it is. I'm not gonna fall for it. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not gonna fall for it. I'll wait. And I'll DCA. As I wait, I might go ahead and throw a few bucks in DCA. That's you already know my strategy: spot, buy, DCA, hold, and then sell when you feel it's right to go ahead and unload. That's it. Bottom line. I'm not trying to make life too difficult, man. I'm not chasing money. I already told you that. By the way, I came off of some wonderful conversations this morning. Shout out to, I can't even name these people, but I had some wonderful conversations. By the way, DavidGokhshtein.com. It's up. You go to DavidGokhshtein.com. If you want to know more, you want to contact me, you go straight to DavidGokhshtein.com. That's it. I'm not going to be out here telling you when I came in and where I come from. No. You can get the whole history there. DavidGokhshtein.com. Finally, like I said, I'm not homeless anymore. I finally am not homeless anymore. I'm not homeless. I'm definitely not homeless anymore. We will have call-ins today. I'm going to put the number up. Sent here by a rumor. It's not a rumor. Sent here by a rumor of an interview with Saylor. Yes, I will be interviewing Michael Saylor. Yes, we will have a conversation. And I think we'll have a good conversation. Anyway, let's look at the total market cap. 2.97 trillion. That's the total market cap. And that is from CoinMarketCap, by the way. Just CoinMarketCap. $2.97 trillion. We got Bitcoin at 87,870. Bitcoin ain't gonna catch me again. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. You guys want to talk about Bitcoin's going to 73,000, 75, 67? No problem. I'll wait. Buy more. I don't care. I'm not in no rush. I'm not trading. I'm accumulating wealth. That's how I look at it. I'm not trading. You guys can go ahead and trade 1 minute charts. Go ahead, do your thing. And by all means, that's your day job. That's your job in general. You don't feel like sleeping. We had Arthur Hayes on. You don't feel like sleeping. You're dedicated to the craft. God bless you, man. Leverage, perps. Oh, God bless you. You do that. I'd like to have my hair intact. I like to have my black hair intact. I don't need to be chasing. I'm not chasing an extra 1 or 2, 3. I'm not in a hurry. Ethereum's at 29.74. Ethereum's at 29.74. We got BNB at 8.48. We got XRP at $1.89. Solana's at 125. Man, Solana looked rough yesterday, man. I ain't gonna front. It looked rough. It looked rough. It looked rough. Tron is still at 27. Yep, 28, 20, 27, 28. Tron doesn't move. That's a stable coin, bro. That is a stable coin. We got Doge also sitting at 13 cents. It is up 3% on the day. You got Cardano at 37 cents. Man, I can keep going. This Link is up. It's up 12. It's up to $12.56. Chainlink, you know I'm bullish on Chainlink. I like Chainlink. You got Monero's up. Zcash is up. 435. Zcash is almost up almost 10%. 10% in the last 24 hours. Not bad. But again, I don't trust anything right now. I don't. Quarter one. But that doesn't mean that I won't buy. Like that doesn't mean that I'm not buying. Like that doesn't mean I'm not buying Bitcoin. Like that doesn't mean I'm not buying it. It just doesn't mean that I'm not buying. I'm just saying I'm not sold right now. I'm not sold. Santa's rally has been won. Santa's rally is broke. Okay? Santa's giving out boxes full of nothing. Santa's in on this too. Santa was in on October 10th, 2025. I believe Santa Claus had something to do with what happened on October 10th, 2025. I'm telling you right now, man. I am telling you right now, I'm not even playing. I'm not even playing. I think Santa had something to do with it. Santa ain't gonna play me. Santa had something to do with it. Okay? Santa was part of it. 100%. 100%. 100%. But this is all about buying. By the way, this is all about buying. For me, personally. You buy towards the bottoms, right? You're not buying the tops. Easy. Like, if you've been here for a while, this should be easy peasy for you. Nothing should be like this market. Well, this market. By the way, if the cycle ended today, this is the worst cycle ever. See how I'm going back and forth? This cycle has made people a bit bipolar. Because, like, if the cycle ended today, this is like the worst cycle ever. Like, the worst, not for Bitcoiners, but like everything else. I mean, people are like, oh, but this one ran and that. Yeah, it's like Bitcoin and 4 other things ran. That's it. Everything else did nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. Nada. So I don't believe that the cycle is over. I firmly stand in the position of either we came early to the party or or either we came early to the party or there's no cycle. That's it. It's either or. It's either or. It is either or. I wanted to get something up here once. Give me just a second, ladies and gentlemen, and then I will go to the like. Do y'all want to call? I know a lot of people wanted to call up, so we'll do that also. So give me just a second. Live show. We're doing live things. Give me a sec here. Give me a 1 second. Need to post something up, man. How come what? I tried to do this before, but hold on. I tried to do this way before. Where is it? Where the hell is it? By the way, if my equipment goes out, I give up. Like, I will absolutely give up. I'll be like, F this, I am out. That's exactly what I'll say. Like, F this, I'm out. But okay, markets mostly in the green. We're hovering at that $3 trillion mark in total market cap. I don't know. I don't know what traders are having fun. I'll ask. Maybe I should bring on a trader and ask them, like, are you actually having fun? I know people in the meme economy are not having fun. I know they're like, what the hell is happening? Altcoiners are also.
Before Bitcoin, you would have bought.
No. Caught it in time. Caught it in time. Yeah, I don't know, man. There you go. I'm back. I needed to upload something. But seriously, it's like, what is this? What is this? What type of cycle? I didn't sign up for this shit. Like, there has to be a bunch of people that are like, yo, I did not sign up for this. I did not sign up for this. There ain't no way in hell I signed up for this shit. Damn. Okay. Sorry. I'm getting like text messages. I should turn my phone off. I should really turn my phone off. I'm like getting text messages all over the place. It's wild. Hold on. Okay. By the way, you can tune into the shows. We're all over the place right now. We're all over the place right now. Yo, don't spam. Guys, don't spam in my chat. Come on. Come on. What the hell is that? Spamming in my chat. Anyway. Now that I got everything situated, again, at the end of the day, for me, I will continue buying. I think if we're going to talk about bottoms, well, I think we're close to a bottom. Okay, I don't believe we're going to $40,000. I really don't believe we're going to $40,000 Bitcoin. But if we do, then I'll buy it. Like, I don't even understand that mentality when people come onto social media and they're like, oh, it's going down. That's it. It's going to 40. It's going to 40,000. It's going to 40,000. So what? So what if it goes to 40,000? So what? That means that I get to buy it cheap. Wait, you think it's over with? You think because Bitcoin were to go, like, hypothetically speaking, Bitcoin would go down to $40,000, it'd be over? Are you not watching what's happening? Like, how many times do I have to say this? We are going digital. We are going digital. The first thing that people want to get their hands on. Nation states, institutions, they want to get their hands on Bitcoin. The problem is a lot of you guys came here expecting to make millions of dollars within 3 days. I keep on saying this. You got the minute rice mentality. You think like, oh, if it didn't hit over, if I didn't, I signed up for an X account. I came onto Twitter. I signed up for a Twitter account. Why am I not a millionaire yet? That's the problem. That's the problem. Nobody's taking the time to understand what Bitcoin is or any digital assets that you hold. I can go ahead and talk about Bitcoin forever, but we could talk about the rest of the market. You guys have you even looked and studied and dived deeper into what these assets actually do? Do you understand at some point, 5 years from now, when Bitcoin is at $500,000 or $700,000, you're going to be like, holy shit. I was like right here when it was at 88. You know what's funny with like human psychology, right? Bitcoin's at 88,002 right now. That's expensive, right? When Bitcoin goes to $500,000, 88,200 will be cheap. And you will have a bunch of people kicking themselves. Why don't you front run everybody? Why not front run the institutions? Like, front run these people. Get in. Get in before everybody else gets in. Who are you waiting for? I really don't get it. Like, what's the green light that you're waiting for? Do you need somebody to tell you that you can actually go in? Like, you need somebody to tell you, like, you can go in? If you need somebody to tell you, hey, you can go into Bitcoin now, you really are doing it wrong. And I already know what your portfolio looks like. It looks like dog shit. If you're waiting for somebody to help you cross the street, you're in a bad position. 100% in a horrible, terrible position. At some point, man, you got to recognize these opportunities, man. At some point. You don't got to buy a whole Bitcoin right now. You literally do not have to buy a whole Bitcoin right now. You could buy $500 worth. A fraction at 500. A fraction at 1,000. Weekly. If you don't want to go ahead and buy a full Bitcoin. The product. Buy the physical asset. I'm just saying. Anyway, we'll be back right after this commercial break from Gemini. This episode 641, The Breakdown, is sponsored by Gemini. Go to Gemini.com/David G to learn more about the credit cards that Gemini has to offer, all issued by WebBank. They got the Bitcoin credit card, they got the XRP credit card, and they got the Solana credit card. All issued by WebBank. Gemini.com/David G. Also, click my link. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, click my link. Sign up. Okay? Sign up. Sign up to Gemini. Trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. Terms apply. We'll be back in 30. We're back. All right, we'll do our call-in session. As always, we'll do call-in. That's right. You can call into the show, 347-630-2399. We could chop it up about the markets. Let's recap the week. If you got any questions, feel free. Again, 347-630-2399. Let me put it out there into the universe. There's a lot of people might... I forgot to retweet my own goddamn live show. Forgot to retweet it. Shame on me. Shame on me. Here we go. Do it. Everybody wants a live show until they get a live show. Everyone wants a live show until they get a live show. Let's go ahead and do this. Everybody's like waiting and waiting. I know what you guys came here for. I know what you guys came here for. I know what you guys came here for. By the way, since I have him in the back real quick, before I take some phone calls, let me bring him in. I hope this is him. Let's see. It is him. Let me bring him on for a second. So when I ask him a question, should I bring him on? I don't know. Should I bring on the puppet? It's not lagging. How is it lagging? Let me go ahead and look. I am not turning this stream off, so I can care less. Okay, so let's see. It's lagging on X as usual. X, why wouldn't it be lagging on X? Like why wouldn't it? So let's go to TikTok real quick. Let's go to TikTok. Not lagging on TikTok. Perfectly fine on TikTok. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine on TikTok. Shout out to the people on TikTok. I see you. Shout out to the people on TikTok. Let me tell you something, man. The TikTokers have embraced me. They understand what greatness looks like. Okay? They understand what the people's champ looks like. At first, they hated me. Now they love me. Now they can't get enough of them live streams. They love it. They love the energy. So shout out to the TikTokers, man. Big shout out to the TikTokers. Shout out to the moderators. The moderators hold emergency meetings every day. Anyway, let's get right to callers here. What's going on? You're live. I mean, you're live. Yo, you're live. You can talk. Going once, going twice. Done. Why would you call up and not speak? Landy needs to sit in the green room, okay? Landy's gonna tell you that it's over, that we're in a bear market. You're live on the breakdown. What's going on? Okay, not you. We'll go to somebody else. What is happening? What is happening right now? What is happening? Oh my God. Hold on. Let me see. All right. You guys can go ahead and try to call up again. Let me bring in Landy. Landy, what's going on? I'll bring in Landy. Landy, you ready to unmute yourself, buddy? Unmute yourself, puppet.
Hello.
Hello,
How are you,
puppet.
David?
I'm good, you puppet.
Hey, I'm
By the way,
excited.
puppet, shut up for a second. Guys, you can still call in, okay? 347-630-2399. I saw a bunch of people try to call in. My bad, okay? You can call in now, and I'll take your call, okay? And then we'll talk to Landy a little bit about the market and have him FUD Bitcoin. Even Landy is FUDing Bitcoin. He is FUDing Bitcoin. I'm telling you right now, him and Santa Claus were the reason why Bitcoin dropped the way it did. It was him and Santa. The Santa rally. Don't tell me about no Santa rallies no more. Hold on 1 second. We got a caller calling in. What's going on? You're live on the breakdown. I mean, is it me? Landy?
It might be
Crypto Bull Ron here. Can you hear me?
Ron, oh shit, everything's going off.
Oh my God.
This is crazy. What happened? Saylor's coming on. Everybody recognized the breakdown or some shit? What is going on?
I guess so, man.
What's going on, Ron? I see you hiking and stuff.
Good stuff. Hey, I've never seen this call-in feature, man. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I seen pictures of you hiking, man. I see that you're hiking. You're staying active. You're going to a Mexican.
Every day, man. I'm doing every day, 7 days a week.
All right, so Ron, tell me what you think about the markets right now. What do you think specifically? Do you think Landy was a part of what happened on October 10th, along with Santa?
Maybe, yeah. Listen, October 10th was a huge blow. I don't think we realized kind of the damage it did behind the scenes to some of the big funds, to some of the big market makers. I think there's some big players teetering on the edge of insolvency, and they're just raping the market every chance they get. You know, they're grabbing every little crumb they can. We see it. You know, 4,000 down, 4,000. I think that's going to take a little while to sort itself out. I think there's other factors. I think people aren't talking about China dumping a lot of Bitcoin. And so I think there's a lot of factors, but you know what? Biggest thing is, I think it's a blessing to us. I think we have maybe 6 months to a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years to acquire Bitcoin. I didn't think we'd have it at this point, to be honest with you.
I also didn't. So I'm looking at this as a huge positive, and I think you have 3 to 4 months. I mean, for me. That's my personal take. Landy's probably going to say you have a good 4 to 5 years or some shit. But for me, in this range, I think we have a good. I'm busting his chops today, but I think we have a good 3 to 4 months to go and accumulate some Bitcoin. I know when we say like 78 or 85, whatever, that's expensive, but to me it's cheap compared to where it's going.
Absolutely. Like, listen, I remember I was begging people at $3,000 to buy it, right? I finally gave up, right? I had people bet me it would never hit 20,000 again, you know? And look at us now. And then what? A few years ago, we sat at 26,000 for 6 months, plus or minus $1,000. We were there for 6 months. No one would listen, right? How cheap is that compared to where we are now? It'll be the same thing when we're 200. 1 million, you know, but I'm telling you, David, I'm feeling the most FOMO I felt in 5-6 years. I got to get more Bitcoin. What can I do to get more Bitcoin? And I'm telling you, it's a blessing. It's an opportunity, and we need to be hitting it as hard as we can.
Listen, I'm about to start. I am about to create an OnlyFans page, because if that's what I need to do to acquire more Bitcoin, hey. I'm gonna register an OnlyFans. Feet
Is
finder.
that
I know a
what the
lot of you
shirtless
guys are
Vic was
freaks
about?
trying to look at my feet. So, just do these things. Yo,
Look.
Ron, I'm gonna touch base with you. Hold on. There's so many people trying to call up. It's crazy.
It's good to hear Ron's voice.
But Ron, it's always a pleasure, man.
Cherish the
You too,
downside
buddy.
moves.
Congratulations, man. You really stepped it up over this last few weeks or few months, whatever it is, man. Congratulations. It's the time to do it, right? Now's the time. I think next year is going to be your best year ever and all of our best year if we lock in, man. That's what we need to do. We need to lock in. So
Well, I'm
appreciate
fucking
you,
back.
man, and
That's it.
congratulations.
It's like John Wick, right? He retired, and then they, something happened to unretire his ass, and that's me right now. I'm thinking I'm back. I'm thinking I'm
love
back.
it, man. I love it.
I
People
appreciate
keep
the kind
asking,
words,
are
though.
you back?
I definitely
Yeah, man.
appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the kind words. 100%. You and the show that you have along with 305, like you guys are great, and I do appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you, man. Looking forward to the interview. I'm about to get me some In-N-Out burger and sit down, chill, and be ready.
No doubt. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you tuning in. We'll have Michael Saylor on at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll go to charts right in the next 15 minutes with Landy. Landy right now is sitting here like he's Andy Richter, right? That was his name, right? Andy Richter from with Conan O'Brien. I think you're that guy. You're that guy,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
You're that guy.
The comic relief puppet.
The villain. You
The
are the
villain.
villain, though.
How
You
am I
are
the villain?
You
Man.
want this market to be like absolutely disgusting.
No.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
I
Like,
want
there's
this
nothing you can
market.
tell me.
Hey, look, I want the market to be low right now so that people have opportunity.
No,
But
you don't.
wait a minute. What do you mean I don't? Hey, I'm one of the few analysts out there that have not called the top yet. It is the top in. I just called a local top. I haven't said it's a macro top. I haven't even really opined. And they've disagreed with my take, and I have yet to say it's like cycle over or anything like that. I'm of the opinion that any downside, even from here, or if it goes up and then heads back down, that you should cherish the opportunity to pick up cheaper sats. That's it. Simple.
I'm just going to keep buying. I don't really care.
There's only so much. So yes, keep
It's
buying.
just like just keep buying. Forget the price, right? Like if the asset's great, like why? You got to look long term, man. Like honestly, like you know what it is? Like I feel like I'm so repetitive every day. Like don't you feel that way? Like you become repetitive after a while. It's just like you're saying the same thing. Yeah, obviously talking to a bunch of people that are acting like they're walls, right? Brick walls, like just like do not want to listen. But you know when they'll listen? I'll tell you when they'll listen. They'll listen when once Bitcoin hits like 500,000, a million. That's when they'll have the oh shit moment. That's when it'll happen. So like, listen, take this like right now. You want to buy. If we're heading towards a bottom, well, I think we're closing in on a bottom. I can go any which way with this conversation. So why not take advantage of it? Okay, let's say Bitcoin is supposed to be, let's say it's destined for 67, hypothetically speaking. And it's at 80, 86, 87 right now? DCA all the way to 67. What's the fucking problem? What is the problem? Why are you trying to catch the bottom? And respectfully, I am so tired of hearing people, Landy, don't get offended. I'm just tired of hearing people say that they called the exact number on the bottom and the top. Like, well, bro, like then give me the fucking lottery numbers. Do me a favor.
I think
I think you guys should quit and go and just play the lottery.
But it's not the lottery. Understanding market mechanics and what's at play is important to identifying opportunity, right? If you want to look, not everybody should be a trader, right? In fact, most shouldn't, and most should stay out of it. but I have a portfolio to hedge, right? So when price is rising, great. I'm not a seller of Bitcoin. I'm a buyer of Bitcoin, right? I would never tell anyone to sell Bitcoin. In fact, I think that Bitcoin is such a valuable asset and such a valuable network that you should be taking every opportunity to get as much as you possibly can. So when I'm hedging to the downside or I say I'm short, people take that as like, oh my God, he doesn't like Bitcoin anymore. He's sold or something like that, or he's a bad guy because he says price is going to go down. No, if I
You
say
are a
that I'm
bad guy, though. I don't.
I know I am the bad guy at this moment, but when I'm short, what am I doing? I'm hedging against my portfolio and I am utilizing that to get more fiat to trade back into Bitcoin. And that's what I think that's where a lot of the misconception comes in between myself and other people in the Bitcoin sphere is that I'm willing to trade it to get more Bitcoin and hedge my portfolio. And that's a pretty standard thing for traders to do. And, um, I think that any downside price action should be cherished because at some point, Bitcoin will get its expansion to the upside and it's going to be a wild, wild ride. Once the cohorts that the financial markets are trying to shake out, one of those bigger cohorts is miners, because they're predictable in the way that they sell. Then they can, you know, but once that's done, you're going to see as the asset gets more financialized, more buyers come in. Price is going to go exponentially higher because then it's all about shaking out long-term holders. And the only way to do that is when price is rising. You shake out short-term holders to the downside, you shake out long-term holders to the upside, right? And in this case, it's been that way all since the bear market, right? All the way up since the institutions got involved in a big way from the spot ETF side of things. So, you know, play the game. If you're not going to play the game, just have a plan for accumulation.
For sure. For sure. Guys, you can go ahead and call in 347-630-2399. You are tuned into the Breakdown, episode 641, sponsored by Gemini, shows produced by Gokhstein Media. I'm joined here by Andy Richter, Landy, who is shorting the market along with Santa Claus, right? The Santa rally. You're going to get a lot of boxes full of rocks in it, okay? I was about to go deeper with this joke.
Wow.
I
Wow.
I forgot that I'm on TikTok. They'll take me off immediately.
Oh my God, they're
Yeah,
gonna
yo,
they're gonna
I
strike you.
held up. I held up. I held up, man. Real quick. I was like, shit, I'll get taken off. But again, the phone number is 347-630-2399. If you just try to call, there was a bunch of people calling in. My apologies. We had Ron on. Shout out to Ron. Ron's been a long time supporter. Nice. It's crazy, man. Like, my DMs are filled up. I still didn't get to everybody's DMs. I will after the show. Obviously, again, Saylor is coming on at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why did I hold it back? A lot of people ask me, why did I hold it back? Why didn't I announce it a week, in advance or 2 weeks in advance? And that's because, like, you know what? Y'all have evil eyes. That's why. That's why I announced my guest like an hour before the show. I always do that. That's a superstition. That it really is a superstition. And then we're gonna clip it up and we'll send it out all over the place. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. Definitely excited to have Michael on. I do want to get his thoughts on Bitcoin. Um, I know he sits through interviews and he's consistently answering questions about Bitcoin, but I have a few that I don't know if he's answered before. So we shall see. We shall see. I have some questions, but I will say that Saylor has again changed my perspective on Bitcoin, and only I guess only a few people that are close to me would understand that. Not that I wasn't buying Bitcoin or holding Bitcoin. It's just he changed my perspective on it. Like I I should be crazy. Like I don't know. I'll explain it after the show. I'll explain it after the show. but my perspective's changed a little bit more so now. So,
I would hope so.
what do you mean you hope so?
I
What do
mean,
you mean you?
for years, little puppets on the internet have been, well, not necessarily puppets at the time, but have been screaming about how you should get as much Bitcoin as you possibly can before the institutions get involved.
What? I was saying the same shit. What are you talking about?
So then what did he change about your perspective? Well, I'll wait till
He
the end of
is
the show.
he is so laser focused on Bitcoin.
Mhm.
He is so you can't convince him otherwise. Like the conviction there is so strong
Because he
that
understands the mechanics at play.
it, it's just it's not it's you can appreciate somebody whether you I don't care. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I think Shift was on here." He's like, "Oh, he's mental and stuff with the way he's doing." And like, no, like that's why I said to Shift, "Well, you're mental about gold, right?" Like your conviction and goal is like nobody can break it. So like seeing that, especially on a young asset, particularly like Bitcoin is still a young asset. To see that, it's really cool. It really is, and you can apply that kind of conviction into daily life in general. So I don't know. It gave me a different perspective, and obviously with everything that's happened in this market, you see like Bitcoin's the only really like let's keep it real 100%. Like it's really the only thing that really ran here.
Yep.
This cycle. I mean, I hate using this word, but this cycle, it's been the only thing that's ran.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
which I don't know, you didn't hear my rant. I went on to TikTok and I ranted about the fact that I don't believe there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I'm looking at, Landy, and I swear to God, I don't know. I might say things and people will scratch their heads and say, I think he's lost his mind, and that's fine. But it's I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm entitled to think that we came a year too early to the game. I'm entitled to think what we had 5, 6 besides Bitcoin. We had 5, 6 assets that broke all time highs. That's it.
yeah, but they just made new all-time highs. They didn't actually go on a bull run, right?
Correct. So
And
nothing happened.
well, it's been a Bitcoin only market right now, in terms of upside. Obviously, many that were here in the bear market and accumulating have done quite well, right?
Yeah.
But the expectation is that everything else would move to the upside. Well, Bitcoin moved to the upside as well, and that just hasn't been the case. And that's really thrown people for a loop here. And it's been reflected on the timeline this entire time on the way up while Bitcoin has been doing its thing. And volatility to the upside has been fairly muted even for Bitcoin versus prior cycles. We've had very long accumulation periods for Bitcoin during the drawdowns. We get short stints to the upside that kick off in pretty aggressive fashion, and then we're right back into consolidation again. And realistically, and I've said this and I've been consistent about it, is since the bear market lows, like you just need to get as much as you possibly can. And because the institutions are coming for your Bitcoin, right? If you're a Bitcoin holder, there's a few ways to shake out Bitcoin holders because there's long-term holders, short-term holders, and then you have the cohorts of institutions, right? Institutional buyers. Now we have a new set of institutional buyers, digital asset treasuries, DATs. We have we have now the ETFs, right? The spot ETFs. And then we have, of course, exchanges. And realistically, where are the bigger pools of liquidity and how do you get them to sell, right? To the downside, you can shake out short term holders. Um, to the upside, you start shaking out long term holders who want to realize profits. Then it's about the exchanges. The miners is a big cohort. They hold 1.8 million Bitcoin in the Bitcoin wallet in the miner wallets. And over time that's going to keep decreasing um, as emissions rates slow down. But it's the game is the movement of Bitcoin to a lot of these bigger institutional players. And if you're here and paying attention, you want to be in on getting as much Bitcoin as you possibly can, because at some point it will just go straight up in a very aggressive fashion on longer term timeframes. Right now, it's just an accumulation phase in a broader context, like on a quarterly time frame, and it has been since last market cycle. All you got to do is look at Bitcoin versus gold, Bitcoin versus equities, and it's in a big old accumulation phase. So I say that if you think that we're going to keep moving forward and that Bitcoin is desirable by these bigger players, you better get in now, and you better cherish the downside moves and have a plan to accumulate them.
I would say that if you're not accumulating Bitcoin, I think you don't understand. I really don't. You don't understand this market. That's really it. But I'm not saying that you can't participate in other stuff either. Like that's not
Yeah.
saying that you can't pick up like Ethereum or XRP or
I love picking up other coins to sell for more Bitcoin.
but that's the whole thing. There are a lot of people that understand, okay, I can get into Solana. Solana goes up. Let's say like Solana, I think is at 125. If Solana goes back to its previous, well, I can go ahead and double my money and I can get myself more Bitcoin. I mean, that's how a lot of people think. That's how a lot of people trade. Like
Yep.
they'll go into the altcoin market and say, I can make, I can double my money here, triple my money here, and then I'll go acquire more Bitcoin. Same thing with the meme economy. I mean, people are going into the memes, and smart people are doubling or God knows 10xing their money, and then they're getting themselves Bitcoin.
Yeah,
So
and
that smart money knows how to play this game, man.
on that point, real quick,
Money knows how to play.
you and I have talked about this quite a bit, but because a lot of the money that is flown in, when I say flow, in terms of flows, are coming from institutions into Bitcoin, when profits are taken, we're not seeing a rotation into altcoins. Where in prior cycles, it was a lot of profits taken through the exchanges and then rotated into altcoins, and we'd get a massive alt season. And in this case, it's just been little mini alt seasons because a lot of the money is outside of the exchange system and in these larger asset under management plays. And DATs are just an accumulation, right? That's what they're doing. I mean, we've seen a couple that have distributed, but they're just accumulating. And really, it's about the trade on the traditional market side for the spot ETFs. And when those profits are taken, they're rolled into traditional market assets. Where in prior cycles, we've seen a lot of those profits rotate from Bitcoin on those exchanges to, Ethereum and so on and so forth, right? Causing, a nice alt season. And I think that Ethereum has to go on a bull run above its all-time high and actually take a leg up for a true alt season to kick off. And I do think that that will happen, but it's going to be rotational from here on out. And that's just a function of larger players being in the game.
Appreciate you, Landy, as always.
Thanks, David.
What do you think? What do you think Bitcoin's going to do by the end of this month?
By the end of this month, if Bitcoin holds the low here, I think that Bitcoin has a good shot of testing upside towards initial levels above this little range that we have here. It'd be 94 to 96, kind of $2,000 at a time, 96 to 98, and then testing 98 to like 101, possibly more. And that's if we see closes continue to, even if we see downside price action, as long as we close above that big low side around $80,000, I think that upside is the most likely outcome in the near term, coming into the end of the month and early portion of January, and then kind of go from there.
Let's hope that Santa's rally is real. Okay, let's hope that Santa's rally, along with Landy, don't ruin your Christmas spirit. Okay. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy holidays to you, Landy. Okay.
Appreciate
I
it.
can't even believe I'm saying
Indeed.
that to you, but happy holidays, bro.
Well, much love, brother. I look forward to watching the interview with Saylor here shortly.
Yeah, me and Sailor are just going to play chess or something. I don't know.
Well, thanks for having me on, David.
Me and Saylor are gonna play Fortnite. So anybody wants to join in? What's that? What is it called? The Royal. What's it called?
Uh,
When all the people
Battle
team up?
Royale.
If anybody wants to join the battle royale, let me know. All right, appreciate you, Landy. Really do.
Thanks, David. Take care.
That was Landy, folks. He's a good guy. I'm just fucking around with Landy. Me and Landy, that's bro right there. I know Landy doesn't agree with half the shit that comes out of my mouth, but I don't agree with him either. Guys, you can call in. You got 5 more minutes left to call in. You guys can call in at 347-630-2399. If you have a question you want me to ask, I will ask one question from the audience. I'll ask one question from the audience. From all the social media platforms that you guys are tuning in from, I'll ask one question to Michael Saylor from you guys, as long as it's a normal question. Obviously, as long as the question's normal, I'll go ahead and ask him. We'll be, I was about to say we'll be right back, but I'm going to give it 6 minutes. I'm going to give it 6 minutes. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 641. I got to stop looking at the phone. I got to stop looking at the phone. I really do. Amazing. By the way, once again, amazing conversation. I had like 2 meetings this morning, amazing meetings. And then I was just getting ready. I was getting ready for, like who really leads Bitcoin? It's Saylor, right? When it's funny when you guys talk about key opinion leaders, like KOLs and influencers, you want to know what a KOL is? That's Michael Saylor. That's a key opinion leader. That's a guy who walks into a room and people know, hey, I'm sitting next to him because he's going to tell me everything I need to know about Bitcoin. That's your KOL. That's your KOL. Not what you guys call KOLs on here. Okay. That is not, these are not your, like, I don't know who gave these people the label of KOL. What opinion are they leading you off a cliff with? What are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? I would never want to be called a KOL. When people call me that, I'm like, ew, no. Not in this space. Maybe this space has absolutely destroyed it. Maybe it's destroyed it for me. I don't know. But that's somebody, that's a KOL. Like that, Saylor walks into a room, you see it, like everybody surrounds him. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Bitcoin, what's happening, what's next. And he's just calm. He's just really calm. He's calm. If you watch most of his stuff, he's very calm. I'm gonna definitely get the one-on-one podcast with him, and I seen his last podcast where like he did it from his house, and it's like, man, I can see like and breaking down Bitcoin and why Anyway, people are trying to call in and they can't get through. So you know what? Lines are messed up. How about that? Lines are messed up. Ron was the only one that could get through today. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial break from Gemini. Yo, Gemini, I need the voiceover. I really need the voiceover, Gemini. This is episode 641 of The Breakdown, sponsored by Gemini. That is right, sponsored by Gemini. Go to gemini.com/David G to look at the current lineup of credit cards that Gemini has to offer. Also, click my link with my pretty face on it. Sign up to Gemini. Trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. Terms apply. Be back in 30 seconds. People are telling me that they're trying to call in still. Guys, there's nothing I can do. We have people in the chat saying that Bitcoin's going to end the year at 110. We shall see. We shall see. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But you know what? Landy will tell you otherwise. Landy will tell you otherwise. Welcome back to the Breakdown, episode 641, sponsored by Gemini. Gokhshtein Media produces this show. My name is David Gokhshtein. For those that don't know, welcome all from all my multiple social media platforms. This is a multi-stream. Some of the comments I cannot see, unfortunately. The only comments that I can see are the ones from Twitter and from YouTube. So if you want to go ahead and chime in and throw your 2 cents in, you can go into the chat. But particularly on YouTube and on X, we will be interviewing, or I will be interviewing, Michael Saylor at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will talk about Bitcoin. What else are we going to talk about? Why not talk about Bitcoin? I want to get his perspective on Bitcoin. Right now, the markets, they look good. I mean, like, they look good, but I still don't trust it. After the last 2 days, I don't. I'm sorry. Those $4,000 swings were crazy. Those $4,000 swings were crazy. What do you mean you don't hear anything? Yeah, you know what? I gotta shut the chat off. When people start saying that they don't hear anything, I gotta really shut the chat off, man. Some people, yeah. Thanks a lot. What is happening, man? Why am I listening to the chat? The chat is purposely trying to go ahead and mess around. Chat is literally trying to mess around. CNBC just came out with Santa Claus rally. What is it, and will it occur this year? I hope Santa rallies this thing to 100K. I really hope Santa rallies us to 100K. I really hope so. Santa, I've been good, man. Santa, you know what? We deserve it. Do you know what it's like being in crypto? Santa? Santa, do you know what it's like being in crypto? Social media is already toxic. Now you add in crypto. Do you understand what it's like being in crypto? If you can make it in crypto, you can make it anywhere. I'm telling you this right now. That used to go for New York. Like we still say it for New Yorkers. If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. No. If you can make it in crypto, you can make it anywhere. With the stuff that we have to deal with, the stuff we've dealt with for the past 4 years, insanity. And we're still here. And we're still here. That's the amazing part. We're still here. We're still kicking. For those who did not sell, for those who refuse to sell but continue to go ahead and buy more, congratulations. Because long term, we're going to win. We're going to be a part of the celebration. I wholeheartedly believe that. So it doesn't matter if Bitcoin were to go from, where is it at right now, 87,000 to 78,000. It wouldn't matter. If it goes to 67, it goes to 40, it doesn't matter. It's already programmed. And I hate using that word, but it is already programmed. It's programmed to go higher. It's destiny. It's changed everything. I say this all the time. I've said this on Spaces. I said this on posts on Twitter. I've said this on Instagram. I've said this on TikTok, on YouTube, on multiple podcasts, on national TV. I've said that Bitcoin has changed everything. It has. It's changed everything for me. And that's not from a monetary standpoint. That's where you guys get it wrong. It's not changed. Gains are great. Gains are great. Do not get me wrong. But it's changed everything, the outlook of what we used to believe in wasn't really reality. And that's the truth. What we were taught, what we were told, it was all bullshit. What we weren't taught, think about it. For decades, they made sure not to go ahead and invite us to the party. The system made sure. And that's why, to me, Bitcoin is that important. I get it. Everybody's here for gains. I understand that. I'm not stupid to that. But like I've said plenty of times for years, like Bitcoin it's more than just gains. It opens your eyes up to everything. It really does. It unplugs you from the system. It's the truth. You finally see value. You finally understand what value is. I mean, that's the best way to put it. So they can say people like us are crazy, but let's see what they say in 5 to 10 years. That'll all change. I believe that. At 5:15, at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be joined by Michael Saylor. I'm shutting down my phone. Stop texting me. Stop texting me, guys. Michael will be on. I'll ask him a few questions. We'll have a good conversation. Hopefully, everybody who's tuned in, and I see the numbers, and the staff's telling me, hopefully you guys learn something. Hopefully you guys will understand and walk away. Because there's a lot of you guys still on the fence on Bitcoin, and I still don't understand why. But hopefully you learn something. We'll be right back after this commercial break, sponsored by Gemini. The Breakdown, episode 641, is sponsored by Gemini. Go to Gemini.com/David G to learn more about the lineup of credit cards that Gemini has to offer. Go look at Gemini's Bitcoin credit card. That's right. Get up to 4% back on your purchases in Bitcoin. That's right. 4% back in purchases in Bitcoin. Not points, but Bitcoin. Again, Gemini.com/David G for more. And go ahead and click my link. Sign up to Gemini, trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. Terms apply. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back to the show. Well, we have the man, the myth, the legend in the green room. We will bring him out in the next minute. But let's go ahead and play this for those who are unfamiliar, which I don't know how you can be.
Before Bitcoin, You would have bought bars of soap. You would have bought anything. You would have bought food. You would have bought bullets. You would have bought guns. Anything tangible that you can self-custody, you would have held. Now, after Bitcoin,
Bitcoin is competing with gold, it's competing with real estate.
But that being the case, the way I think about Bitcoin is it's a digital monopoly on capital. It's the world reserve capital network.
I don't give a shit about your short-term prediction. The ultimate goal is to get Bitcoin.
All right, let's bring Michael right in. Michael Saylor, everybody, joins us on the breakdown, episode 641. Hi, Michael. How's it going?
hey, awesome. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. It's perfect.
Great.
Appreciate you joining the show. I was trying to reply back to somebody to let them know I see you in the back here in the green room. The first thing I wanted to hit quick with before we get into the markets and Bitcoin is I just want to know if your neck's okay from the time you turned around when Scotty made that comment about him knowing who Satoshi was in like 1996 or 1997 when you were on that panel with him. What was your reaction?
Of course, the white paper didn't come out till Halloween of 2008. That's when Satoshi leaped on the screen. So I don't like to speculate what Satoshi was doing before the white paper.
I've never seen you turn, like I've watched so many of your interviews. I've never seen you turn so fast. But again, I appreciate you coming on. What's your take right now with everything that's happening in the markets?
I think the fundamentals are great this year. It's pretty much the best year we've had in the history of the industry. Universal support from the banking establishment, from the securities regulator, from the commodities regulators. Tokenization of everything is coming. Bitcoin's been embraced as digital gold. The banks that we never thought would join are all coming on board. They're going to start to extend credit. They're going to start to offer custody. So pretty much if I had a wish list of the top 12 things that I wanted, I got all of them this year. I think that the price action is choppy and sideways. And when you talk to people, they say the market's really being driven in the near term by the derivatives traders. And, the derivatives market, the perpetuals is 5x bigger than the spot market. And so if a guy wants to put $1 billion up and go 50x leverage short or 50x levered long, then that trader controls the price for the day because it's a lot of leverage. And, it's a global market. And people talk, they like to talk about the corporations, but at the end of the day, 85% of the Bitcoin is held by not corporations. Nobody knows who owns it. And those crypto native OGs, they're using the crypto exchanges and crypto derivatives to get liquidity. And so you got $1.7 trillion worth of people with capital that could lever it 10 or 20 to 1, and they decide what they're going to do, above my pay grade. I think at some point, the general sentiment will flip from being short to being long, and we'll have a face ripping rally north. I just can't tell you when.
What made you change your mind about Bitcoin? Like, what was it? When did you have that moment where you were like, you know what, this is it. This is the asset.
That was during the COVID lockdowns, and there was a war on currency. But the analogy I give you is, if you had a $500 million real estate portfolio in the middle of the city and the mayor said, there's been a pandemic, and so we've decided to lower rents to zero forever on your building for the public good. If you could sell the $500 million of real estate and move to a different city where you didn't have to accept zero forever, you would probably sell your real estate and you would move to another place that you thought was more capital friendly or more investor friendly. And in essence, that's what happened in 2020, when they lowered, Powell said, I'm lowering interest rates to zero and I'm keeping them there forever. So the famous quote is, I'm not even thinking about raising interest rates until like the year 2024. So if I'm your boss, David, and I said, hey, for the good of the population, we've decided to lower your salary to 0 for at least the next 4 years, but hope you keep working for us. How long would you keep working for me?
Yeah, I think I'm leaving.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was that catalytic event where, and we're not the only people that experienced it. A lot of people experience that kind of economic shock, and it was like, okay, you probably ought to just reconsider all of your assumptions about economics and life. And look, I mean, literally, if I go to everybody in your company and I say we're just going to cut your salary to 0 for the next 5 years, wouldn't you be shocked if they didn't do something?
No,
You know?
I'd be shocked if they stayed.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocked.
So that's kind of what we did. I had $500 million and it all of a sudden became worthless and getting debased. And, at that point, you decide maybe you need to find a new profession.
At its core, what problem does Bitcoin solve better than anything else we would have ever created?
I think the simplest metaphor is digital gold, and gold for 3,000 years is just portable capital. I want to carry a bunch of wealth with me across a border, and I don't want to trust a counterparty. So a non-sovereign store of value. And, if I had a genie and 3 wishes and I could make gold better, my first wish would be shrink the supply to 21 million coins and make it illegal to make any more. And my second wish is make it invisible and teleportable and indestructible, and let me carry as much gold, in my pocket as I possibly can. And my third wish would be make it programmable so a billion AIs can teleport it and transform it 1,000,000 times a minute, so that I can put it on a billion computers and have it get traded back and forth 37,000 times while I'm sleeping, right? And I would think digital gold, as I just described, it's got to be better and more valuable than physical gold. And especially in the 21st century, when you're looking at 10 billion computers and 10 billion AIs and 10 billion mobile devices, and you're never teleporting an ounce of gold on an iPhone. So I just think it's digital gold. It's got to be 10x to 100x better than gold.
After everything you've seen, cycles, criticism, adoption, what gives you the strongest confidence that Bitcoin's role is still expanding?
Well, because it is expanding, because the President of the United States has embraced it, because David Sachs says it's the world's dominant digital commodity and asset without an issuer, because 200 companies have started buying it, because the CFTC says commodities exchanges can trade it in the US for the first time and take it as collateral, and because the SEC acknowledges it, because the head of the Treasury acknowledges it, and every non-financial cabinet member acknowledges it. And everywhere in the world, people acknowledge it as digital property, except for Cuba and North Korea. And in Cuba and North Korea, they throw you in jail for owning a house. You can't own anything, right? I mean, it's illegal to own property. So I think global consensus is formed that Bitcoin is digital property, and that's never been clearer today. And when we got involved, it was a $150 billion network, and today it's a $2 trillion network. And so if it's growing 3 times faster than the S&P, and if there's hundreds of millions of people that acknowledge it, then I think that's pretty good indicia that it's succeeding.
Welcome to the breakdown, by the way, episode 641, joined here by the legend himself, Michael Saylor, who, man, it seems like strategy just buys Bitcoin every single week. Like, it's just waiting for an announcement of how much more Bitcoin that you guys acquire. What is the percent that you're looking for to acquire in terms of supply?
Well, we've acquired 90 times, 90 different acquisitions over 5 years. And so I don't know, 250 weeks in 5 years, and we've done 90. So not quite every week, but whatever we could crack our piggy bank open and find a bit of money and go buy, we do. We bought $1 billion a week for the past 2 weeks, roughly. We're up to 3.2% of the entire supply. It cost us $50 billion to get to 3.2%. I'm thinking that the next $50 billion won't get me 3.2. It'll probably get me 1% or less. And I'm thinking if I come up with a few $100 billion, I might, what I've said is if we get to 5% of the network, Bitcoin's going to be $1 million a coin. If I get to 7.5% of the network, it'll be 10 million a coin. So think of it as I'm buying something, getting exponentially more expensive, using exponentially more money. And where do we top out? You know, I think we top out between 5 and 7.5%, and then we just exponentially slow down, right? And the rest of the network is right now. It's, you know, after $100 billion of money from BlackRock and 50 billion from us, 85% of the Bitcoin is held by the OGs.
Exactly.
After the next $1 trillion from the big institutions, maybe it'll be 75% will be held by the OGs. So think of us as powering the network up, and we're pushing against an exponentially hardening asset. And that's the way it should be. Look, 95% of the Bitcoin's been mined. By the year 2035, 99%. That last 1% of Bitcoin comes out between the year 2035 and the year 2140. It's 100 years to get the last 1%. And so we look at it like that, and we will just be like the little engine that could. We will keep, you know, turning the crank, powering the network, you know, driving up the network value for everybody. And you know, I think that you can do that at least for the next 100 years. I don't know what happens after 100 years. I haven't worked that out yet. The AI version of me will be giving interviews in 100 years about what we're doing next, but that won't be me.
I'm sure you're working on that. When BlackRock, and you speak of BlackRock, now Vanguard has come out, has stated, hey, we're opening up business to our clients. Bank of America came out, said, you know, that at least 4% of your portfolio should be allocated to crypto. Did they reach out to you in any way, like before any of these people went
I
public?
meet with all these banks. I went and met with the CEO of Bank of America. I've been a client of Bank of America for 30 years, and I pointed out that, you know, this is a great opportunity for the bank, and they were missing it by, you know, having a very, very vague, ambiguous, you know, anti-crypto policy, and maybe he should intervene, and he did. And so, yeah, from what I can see, JP Morgan is progressing their stance to be pro crypto, pro Bitcoin. You can see that. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, BNY Mellon, PNC Bank, Morgan Stanley, you know, all the Citi has announced they're going to custody. And then Charles Schwab and Texas Capital has been a really big pro Bitcoin supporter as well. So I would say 80% of the major banks in the US have flipped to being very progressive in this stance. And the ones that were kind of anti or very conservative, even like Vanguard's not a bank, but, you know, they were kind of anti, and now they're moving to neutral. You know, and most, you know what I say, everybody's against Bitcoin before they're for it, including me, right? Including me.
Yeah, that's why I asked you that question earlier. What made you, you know, change your mind on it? It was just like, what made it that asset for you?
You know, John D. Rockefeller was big into racing horses. He had horse and carriage races, but he got insanely rich off of the automobile. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, everyone that bought an automobile was in favor of horses and horse and buggies before they saw the automobile work. And so I think everybody's against it until they see it work. But it takes a certain amount of data and a certain amount of time. But I mean, at this point, you can see, you know, the rhetoric and the language everywhere in the world. And 5 years ago, it was, I don't know if it's going to work. And then it was like, well, it's not too good to be true. And then it's like, well, maybe the government will take it away from you. And it's like, well, I guess they were not going to take it away from you. Oops, I guess we can all get rich and live happily ever after if we embrace this technology. And I will note it's 30 years from the point that we had that electricity started commercialized before it was common in buildings. That was a 30-year transition. So most technologies, the automobile, electricity, whatever. Yeah, you know, we had good nuclear power in 1973. And then in 2021, after the lockdowns, all the power companies I spoke to were going to shut down all the nuclear power plants in this nation. So that was a 50-year struggle. And then all of a sudden we had our chat GPT moment and people thought, wow, these AIs work and they want electricity. We've got to feed them electricity. And nuclear became cool in this country and in the world again, because we realized, you don't have nuclear power, you don't have AI, and then you're just going to be slow and stupid. And, what I say is, you put electricity into a GPU data center, you're not slow and stupid, and you put electricity into a Bitcoin miner and you're not going to be weak and poor, right? So I think that the world is just evolving. I think everybody would like to be strong and rich, quick and smart, and all the haters of AI, at the point that you actually start talking to it and it does the work of 100 people in like 5 minutes, you get the religion. You're like, okay, I guess this isn't like a gimmick thing anymore. I guess this is real. And I think the society, they're rotating, right, to embrace, it's digital assets. Is it better to move money at the speed of light and do everything's a million times faster, smarter, and quicker? Yeah, no. Well, 2-3 years ago, people thought no, but now people think, yeah, like maybe we do. The DTC, they custody all the securities in the world.
Yeah.
CEO gets on the internet, records a video, and says, "Hey, we're going to tokenize all the securities on the DTC." Well, that happened fast. That took one election, a speech by the head of the SEC, and now the person that custodies literally all the publicly traded securities in the country, maybe in the world, says, "Yeah, of course we're going to tokenize this." So that I think you're seeing that with digital currency. Of course, we're going to have tokenized dollars. Digital securities, digital exchanges. Yeah, of course we want to trade 24/7, 365. Digital capital. Yeah, of course we want to put our money in cyberspace. Why wouldn't I want to be able to put my money in cyberspace and move it at the speed of light and put it on a computer? I asked the AI. The AI said it's a good idea. I think that's where we are right now. I think the world is rationalizing and it's healing and we're, there's always the countries that they're afraid. We don't want you to have AI. It might give you the answer. We don't want you to have digital technology. It might work too well. People might, who doesn't want you to move your money at the speed of light? Well, countries that have laws against moving money. It's like people that don't want you to own things or move things are afraid of technology that lets you do things. But as I've said before, the Japanese and the Chinese thought that munitions and explosives were cheating in war, and they outlawed them, and that didn't work very well for them. Eventually, the Westerners showed up with battleships and guns and explosives, and then the Japanese changed their policy, and the Chinese changed their policy. And I think digital assets and digital intelligence, ultimately, you can't use it without concluding that it's the future. It's just to paraphrase William Gibson, he said, the future's already with us. It's just not evenly distributed. So what we have is stuff getting distributed, in its own, human way.
So I'm getting that you're bullish on AI.
I'm very bullish. It's pretty clear the cars are going to drive themselves. The robots are going to do all the work. When I have a question, I go and I ask the AI. I tell it to grind away. It does the work of 100 lawyers and 100 bankers and 100 financiers in 10 minutes. Then I tell it to redo the work, and I get like 300 man years of work in like half an hour. And that's just me. In fact, we've issued $8 billion worth of digital credit this year. And the most successful IPO of the year was Stretch. It's STRC. It was $2.5 billion. I couldn't have done any of it without AI. If we had not had AI, we would be $8 billion less. 5 IPOs, none of them would have happened because I used the AI to design the securities and solve all the tax problems and all the securities law issues. So I'm a big believer in using AI to design new things. And I focus upon digital credit and securities, but there's someone there thinking about how to make the car drive and cure cancer. And aren't there like 100 million problems the human race has to solve that you're like, well, you're going to need 1,000 people with PhDs to solve that. Well, guess what? Now every 16-year-old has 1,000 PhDs at their fingertips. And so I'm very bullish the world's going to be a much better place, and we're going to see an age of empowerment and abundance because of digital technology.
When people mention quantum computing and Bitcoin, what are your thoughts on that?
I think most people promoting it, they just want to raise money. They're VC and they want you to fund their VC startup, their quantum startup, their computer startup. And so it's kind of like when I tell you that the ocean is going to flood Miami, and then I ask you for $10 billion to do something. There's an economic motive. What do I think? I think that at some point, if there is a quantum threat, then the world will form consensus. The US government and Apple and Amazon and Facebook and Google, everybody will upgrade all of their software libraries, encryption libraries. And when that happens, you'll know, because everybody on earth will be doing it. And I think Bitcoin's just a software network. So I think that we will upgrade the software. People with their private keys, if they need to, they'll just re-encrypt their wallet, or they will use the upgraded quantum resistant software to secure the network. The network will get more secure. Maybe we'll find out that 6 million Bitcoin have been lost forever. The dead people, they won't upgrade, and the lost Bitcoin will get frozen or just frozen out of the network. It'll be a massive deflationary event. The price of Bitcoin will increase. The security of Bitcoin will increase. It'll be good for the world. It'll be good for Bitcoin, right? I'm an optimist. I tend to think smart people that put their money in a bank, when it's time to upgrade the software to protect their money, they'll probably upgrade the software to protect their money because everybody likes their money. It's like, I don't think it'll be controversial. I think the controversy is I send you an email at midnight and I say, David, Dr. Evil's got a quantum computer and he's going to hack all your accounts. So please click on this link and upgrade to quantum resistant software immediately, right now. Don't even think, do it now. Quickly. Click on the link. And by the way, type in your password, and use your multi-factor authentication device so that we can, upgrade your wallet to quantum resistant. And you're smiling because that's a phishing attack.
Yeah.
Like when I panic you, I'm just engaging in a phishing attack to steal your money. So I don't think there's any debate that at some point the software and the hardware gets upgraded. This is not a surprise to anybody. Everything on earth gets upgraded. I think that the debate is should we panic? Should we panic now? And if you remember the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What's on the back cover? The two words, the most important two words in the universe. Don't panic.
Exactly.
Right? So we'll be fine. We're all going to be just good. And there'll be 100 things, challenges. 90 of them will never materialize. 10 of them will. Smart people will upgrade to deal with the threat. What you got to keep in mind with Bitcoin is it's an economic protocol, right? The asset operates on a network that's based on a protocol that's rooted in an ideology. And the ideology is property rights and integrity and engineering soundness. So the protocol itself is going to live on, just like the English language. Just like Arabic math is 1,000 years old. We've been using it. The English language we've been using for hundreds, maybe 1,000 years. By the way, English evolves. Arabic math, not so much. They all were the best protocol. The smart, rich, powerful people chose it. The smart, rich, powerful people will have chosen Bitcoin. That's where all the money is. And over time, when there's a threat, you're just going to upgrade your hardware, upgrade your software, and keep the protocol. And so I wouldn't panic, and I wouldn't let people fudge you off your center because the odds are always higher that you're going to do something stupid because you're in a hurry. And that's why I think you should be calm and methodic about these things.
Patience. Senator Loomis she stated that in 2026, that she's hopeful that there won't be any, cap gains tax, or I forgot what she said, but I'm going to paraphrase. She will try to take taxes off of Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on that? You think it happens?
It's all above my pay grade, David. That would be determined in DC. So I couldn't speculate. Yeah. I think that I think the exciting thing going on in DC in 2026 is going to be the Clarity Act. And I think that there seems to be bipartisan consensus that we should get a Clarity Act. It'll be good for the industry. I think it will be good for the industry. I can't say what'll be in the final version of it.
Do you think
I
it
don't think it
happens
really
quickly,
matters
Mike?
much to Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is digital capital, right? So all of the critical questions have already been settled for Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of questions with regard to digital currencies, digital securities, digital tokens, capital formation that will need to be settled, and we'll see, how that all works itself out.
You think it happens quickly though? You think they'll pass the Clarity Act quickly, or do you think they'll have to wait, for the midterms?
I think they'll be discussing it for the first half of the year. I mean, It could take to Q2. I would be shocked if it takes longer than the end of Q2, but like, I'm not going to, go on Polymarket and bet that it's done by January 30th, right?
I had a question from Bitcoiners. They wanted me to ask you, Mike, what do you think about Bitcoin ordinals? Do you think it helps Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's a very controversial topic. My view is we should avoid making upgrades or changes to the protocol to chase after features, because fundamentally Bitcoin's very stable protocol is the feature. The fact that it changed very slowly and it changes only due to overarching consensus. When there's overwhelming consensus that we need to make a change or an upgrade to the protocol, then I think it makes sense. But until there's overwhelming consensus, I think we should be very conservative with the protocol. With regard to ordinals, they came about because of capabilities from Taproot and from other upgrades that were made. My general view is you should be able to use the network as long as you're not lobbying to change the protocol or change the functionality of the network. And if people use Bitcoin in a certain way, like for security or for burning a certain message or something, it's their right to do it. I just think that ultimately the real fundamental value of the network clearly is monetary integrity, right? That's the fundamental value. So I guess what I'd say is I wouldn't lobby to censor them, but nor would I lobby to change the protocol to make it easier for them. I'm very conservative.
I just think that there's one, I won't mention it, but there's one that's on there's one ordinal out there. I think it does bring more people to Bitcoin. The younger generation, I think it brings more people to Bitcoin, and I think that's pretty cool. But I agree with you. Let's not change anything, because the way it is, I think it's totally fine.
The market sorts this out, right? Like everybody's got their own view of what Bitcoin is. Like what I'm doing is I'm selling billions of dollars of digital credit, and I'm taking the money and I'm buying Bitcoin. Okay, that's my application of Bitcoin. Some people don't like that. Some people wouldn't do that. That's their choice. If we fail in the market, we won't raise any more money. If you come up with another idea, like, if your bank's some people don't want banks to custody Bitcoin and issue credit on Bitcoin, but it's like at the end of the day, some people don't want governments to buy it. Some people don't want companies to buy it. Some people don't want anybody with more money than them to buy it, right? Some people don't like the ETFs, right? My view is the network is going to be most successful if we are inclusive. And if our message is hundreds of governments, tens of thousands of banks, millions of corporations, and billions of families and billions of people, they're all able to use Bitcoin however they wish. Let them do it. The winners will win, right? The bad ideas will lose. The market, the network will evolve, and I'm not a big fan of big protocol. I don't want to have protocol bloat where like people are like, well, we have to add this feature and this feature and this feature and this feature and this feature. I'm not in favor of that. But once you've got a stable network, I'm in favor of a market economy where let the marketplace decide, right? What is the best use of capital? It's like an Austrian economics thing. Like you want to start a business with your money, and I think it's a stupid idea. Well, you do it, and if you're right, you'll make a lot of money, and if you're wrong, you'll lose your money, and the market solves it. But it's not. I shouldn't be telling you how to spend your money or dictating. I'm not in favor of central planning. I'm not in favor of capital controls, market controls, top down, authoritarian dictation. And I think the bottom up approach, the organic approach, is best with these things.
Last question, because I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate you taking the time for coming on to this show. Really do. I'm sure this is a common question, but $1 million Bitcoin. If you had a guess, when Bitcoin hits $1 million per coin, when do you see that happen?
Sometime between 4 and 8 years from now. 4 to 8 year time frame. I can't tell you. I know you're not Miss Cleo. I can't tell you what date, but it feels to me, my forecast is, Bitcoin will continually decelerate it's right now 45 ARR, 45 vol. It'll decelerate over 20 years till it's like 20 vol, 20 ARR. And so if you crank in that number with a bit of volatility, you would think that sometime in the 4 to 8 year time frame, you'll get there. We'll see.
Well, for me, and I always say this, maybe at first it's gains or whatnot, but Bitcoin, for me personally, is a lot bigger than just gains. It opened my eyes up to everything when I was introduced to it. It just opened my eyes up to the system and how, like the dollar is really not worth anything. Again, that's my opinion. And I saw what the centralized world was. And, and I believe The Matrix was a documentary and not a movie. So at the end of the day, I'm glad that I was unplugged and I get to see this side. And I like the fact that we're going digital and, Bitcoin's leading the way. So that's pretty cool. And seeing nation states participating and getting into Bitcoin, seeing the entire world embracing it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool, especially when, years back, I would talk about Bitcoin and people would just make fun of me in my previous career and say, look at the Bitcoin king over there walking around. And I'm like, you're missing out. And they would just completely, absolutely destroy me with comments. But you look at it now, they're the same people calling up and saying, how do we get in? So that's, it's pretty cool to go ahead and stand on, as I say, stand on business and stand on your conviction.
I think the most important idea is, for the first time in human history, you can bind economic energy tightly to the individual, right? So that's a profound idea. It's an ethically sound, economically sound, technically sound protocol to propagate property rights or propagate economic empowerment to 8 billion people, and not just the individual, every family, every individual, every company, and every bank. And if you look at all the misery in the world, it's the fact that, banks never had a sound protocol to store capital, nor did a company, nor did a family, nor did a country, nor did an individual. Nobody did. It's like imagine the human race if we didn't have math and we couldn't actually add numbers up. And then someone came along and said, here's math. And now we can add numbers up and we can actually calculate, how to make the bridge not collapse. I mean, it basically is this singularity where economics goes from being an art to a science. And you said it opens your eyes. It's like, yeah, it opened your eyes because you realize that there's actually a right way to do this. Like there's a fair and equitable, truthful way to work through economic calculations. And once that happens, it's like, one thing leads to another, and you question the premises of, what's the best thing for the nation? What's the best thing for the bank? What's the best thing for the family? What's the best way to capitalize a company? How should you think about credit? How should you think about money? How should you think about, empowerment? You really question everything, right? It opens Pandora's box up. And of course, since there's billions of people, there's billions of conclusions. everybody comes to their own sets of conclusions.
Yeah.
But it really is like fire. Prometheus, it's like, okay, you've got this Promethean idea. I give you fire, and you're like, wait, I don't have to shiver and freeze to death in the dark. And if you think about like that little spark, that little fire, and then how that ripples to the automobile and the airplane and the heater and how many, everything gets rethought. And so Bitcoin is like economic fire. And, I said, it's like Satoshi lit a fire in cyberspace. Then you started this chain reaction, and it's a viral chain reaction. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And I think that joins us together. I'm grateful to be on the journey with you, David.
I'm grateful that you're out there just leading the way. Honestly, I really am. So if they ever mention a KOL, you are it, key opinion leader on this very topic. I really do appreciate you for that. And I appreciate that you came onto the show, and hopefully we can definitely sit down for a one-on-one podcast and really talk more about Bitcoin and the monetary system, because I think it's super important, 100% very important.
I will look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Michael. I hope you have a great day. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, that is the GOAT, as I call him, Michael Saylor. Everybody, go ahead and give him a follow. If you're not following, you're crazy. We will be back right after this commercial break. And that is right. Gemini has brought you this show, episode 641, sponsored by Gemini. Go to Gemini.com/David G to find out more about Gemini's lineup of credit cards. Also, click my link with my pretty face on it. Sign up, trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. We'll be back in 30 seconds. welcome back to the breakdown, episode 641, sponsored by Gemini. Yeah, that was great. At least for me, that was great having Michael Saylor on, and just listening to him talk about Bitcoin, even going into AI. Yeah, it was a good conversation. I'm going to replay it back because obviously I'm in the moment. So I'm just in the moment. You guys are sitting back, you're watching. And I'm just thinking I'm thinking about the things that he's saying. And I'm trying, again, a lot of thoughts were going through my head as he was responding to the questions. And I appreciate that he came on, obviously. And hopefully we do that one-on-one interview live, and we dive deeper into Bitcoin, crypto, and just the monetary system, because I think it's really important. So yeah, I yeah, I don't even know what to say. To be honest with you, I really don't know what to say. That's the GOAT. That is to me, because I'm a Bitcoiner, that I'm not gonna cry. What are you talking about? But to me, that's the GOAT when it comes to Bitcoin, right? Because conviction's a big thing. Conviction is a super big thing in life. It's big, and this man is just you can obviously tell he's very educated. He's smart. He knows Bitcoin inside out. This is not somebody who's throwing millions of dollars at an asset that he has absolutely no clue about. So it's I'm not the only mental case out here. That's one of the things I was thinking was I'm not the only person. And I'm sure a lot of you guys were like, shoot, I'm not the only person either. And it was one of those we can never oh my God, I'm gonna say something and everybody's gonna take it the wrong way, but don't you wish we could talk to Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Don't you wish we can even talk to Hal? I wish I could have interviewed Hal Finney, right? You kind of think of it that way, and then you have, well, I've always said that we need somebody to represent for Bitcoin, right? I've always stated that we needed to have somebody who can be out there and be the voice for Bitcoin, and to articulate it correctly so people understand, so people have a chance to get in, not wait. That's him. Whether you like him or not, I don't care. People don't like me, I don't care. But as long as the message gets across, that's all that matters. I had so many questions to ask. I had 30 questions in my head, and I'm going through a selection of questions, and I'm like, which one would be right? But the way he's breaking down Bitcoin, the way he goes about thinking and breaking things down, it's I had to adjust every second to what. Oh wait, hold on. Let me hit him with this. No. Let me go. No, that's what was happening the entire time. Plus analyzing everything that he was saying. So let's bring in Landy. Landy's joined us. Landy now here. Oh God, the puppet's here. What's going on, Landy?
Hey, great interview.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Saylor is the best pitch man for Bitcoin. He understands how to explain it to not just normal people, but to some of the largest investors in the world, right? So when you say he's the GOAT, he is the GOAT, right? He has perfected the art of explaining Bitcoin, something that we've been trying to do for many years. He quickly studied it and then was able to turn around and explain it in a clear and understandable way to many people. So, look, shout out to him, and shout out to you for getting him on. It was a great interview. I really enjoyed it. I actually liked that he did drift into the AI topic. So it's something I'd like to go back and rewatch as well, because there's a lot of wisdom in what he said. He's got a very unique position in these markets, and he's got a very unique view of where things are going. And although there might be detractors out there, and there's plenty, right? Um, I think that he's on the right path, and what he's built thus far, um, I think will continue to endure, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I know that there's a lot of people that are not in that camp. He knows that, and I think that what's going to end up happening in the end is that they will be proven wrong, and he will be proven right, because Bitcoin is the way.
I have to replay the show.
Oh, I imagine, yeah. I mean, I have to go back and watch it again too. He's
I had,
really good.
I really had I had 30 to 40 questions. Like in my head, where
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was going to ask him 30 to 40 questions, but I had 30 to 40 lined up to where okay, but he is absolutely not only is like you said, he's really good at selling, but I think if you listen to the program today, I don't know how you can't buy Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how people weren't buying Bitcoin before, but that's just me.
Or at least not think about it now and say, okay, hold on. This made sense. It was kind of like this made sense. Like there were if you got nothing out of this conversation, then there is no help for you. Like I 100%, I believe there is absolutely no help for you if you got nothing out of that interview.
Landy has switched to what? I've been a puppet the entire time. Yeah, it's hard when listening to him. I mean, I also come from this as with a Bitcoin first mentality in markets in general, but it's hard not to listen to him and not get excited about Bitcoin, right? So, thought it was a great conversation. He's got a lot of insight into what's happening in obviously the banking system, and kind of where things are headed in the future. And look, the way that they've been playing the game, as a company, his company has been playing the game in a very unique way that has surprised the markets. So I would expect them to continue to do so. And I appreciated that you didn't rehash a bunch of questions that I've seen across his various interviews. So
Yeah, I wasn't. That was my whole thing when I looked at all the interviews that Michael Saylor did. I was just trying to figure out what hasn't been asked. Just like obviously I'm gonna have to ask about Bitcoin, but how can we have a conversation where some of these topics weren't touched on? And I think I don't know. Right now I have to replay the show, but throughout the show I felt like at least half of the time. I felt like he said a few things that I didn't see on previous podcasts. Respectfully, I'm not saying that those shows were bad. I'm just saying in general, I didn't hear him before. That's all.
yeah. I mean, it's he does answer a lot of the same questions, right? Especially on mainstream media, they always have the same basic questions. So it's good to see him in an environment where he's got the freedom to kind of take the time to talk through things. And I'm interested if you can get him back on for a podcast, sit down podcast interview. Like that would
I
be,
think the podcast is going to happen.
yeah, that's going to be really interesting, because reviewing kind of once you get a chance to review your thoughts,
Yeah.
there's some things I think that the audience, I'm sure you, even myself, would like to see kind of explored in terms of topics. And
I'm telling you, like I had so many questions. Like, look, like you don't not just in my head, but like I had questions already written out, man. Like the Scotty thing.
hey, you got him to laugh right off the bat. So there you
I
go.
just like no, but I just wanted to make sure that it like his neck recovered.
Yeah, well, man, that meme is amazing. I'm sorry, I use that quite often, so it is a pretty amazing meme. I
When
mean,
Scotty's sitting there saying that, and then he goes, like, I can't.
well,
It
now
was,
now
oh
you
my
have to
god.
get Scottie Pippen on, and you got to ask him all about Satoshi. Let him drop all the deets. Come on,
Yeah, maybe
Scotty.
we'll bring Scotty on.
Yeah, get him. He'll
I
come
had,
on.
one thing about me is I'm very transparent. So I had one person send me a message and say, "You look starstruck."
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. The goat is on, at least for me. I mean, you don't have to think you don't have to have the same or share the same opinion as me, but like to me, that's being that out, I talk about Bitcoin all the time, right? Like to see, I'm sitting here with Michael Saylor, who has bet on himself and bet on Bitcoin, and nobody can tell him otherwise that this thing is going to succeed and it's going to hit the numbers that he's putting out there.
Yep.
Nobody can tell him otherwise.
Yeah.
And he just said, like, he was on here and he said the 12 things that he wanted to get done, it got done. So he's happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Yeah, at first. That's fine, but the nerves, they leave within a minute or two. Don't worry about it. I'm quick to recover.
Russell brings up a good point. I thought it was his take on ordinals was interesting to hear as well.
Yeah, I had to ask him about the ordinals thing because, like, it's been brought up, and
They have the
somebody
Bitcoin
brought it up
Orange
to me.
project still going, so that's still something internal that they're utilizing. So it's something I know that is a hot topic in the Bitcoin community. There's very, very, very hot takes on both sides of that when it comes to the network side of things.
Yeah.
But from the Bitcoin holding side of things, I think it's more about utilization of the network and how it's utilized going forward. And I thought that his take on it was very interesting. So it's something that will remain a hot topic going forward, though.
Landy, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, brother.
Everybody follow Landy, man. Definitely appreciate you, Landy, and I'll definitely obviously give you a call after the show.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just wanted to jump on and say great show, great interview, and appreciate
Don't
you,
lie
David.
to me. Tell me it was shitty. Go ahead, tell me.
It was not. No, this is look, maybe I'm a little biased, but I think it was one of the best interviews that I've seen with him, exploring topics that I haven't seen him explore either in quite a long time or at all in some cases. So yeah, no, I thought it was great, and I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, Landy. I appreciate you guys. Tune into Landy tonight. It's Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as he breaks down the markets. He recaps them. Landy, thank you.
Thanks, David. Take care.
Let's bring in this person has promised me a voiceover for the longest time, and so not only was I promised that I was going to Gemini's headquarters. I hold on. Let's do a little breakdown here. Let's promise to go to Gemini's headquarters, 48-hour marathon. Then voiceover. Yo, I am really the stepchild out there in Gemini. They must not. Gemini hates me. That's it. That's the only conclusion that I can come to. Gemini doesn't like me. It's sad. Because I love him so much. But let's bring on Austin Oates, man. Austin, what's going on, bro?
Oh, hello everybody. I'm doing good. Thank you for the wonderful intro today. You had a banger today. What a stream, man. What a good guest. I was locked in. I made a point. I was like watching it at home, and then I came to the office. I was like, we're dialed in. Dude, what a fire stream.
Was Gemini dialed in or no?
I mean, I am Gemini, so I don't know how to say other than that.
He said, "I am Gemini."
I am Gemini. I am. Look, all right. I'm in the room. I'm in my little hidey hole here. This is my mattress. For I gotta lock in at the office.
You are locked in, bro. Like literally locked in the office. Like they locked you in the office.
I'm literally, yeah. Like, dude, I'm in the closet right now, dialed up. This is the whole setup. Yeah, I got Bitcoin. We got our Bitcoin. You know, I was eating my Pez right here, watching you talk to Saylor. What a good chat, though. How did you feel? You had a little bubbly, but I want to post-game interview you now. So, like, how do you feel after today? Like, do you feel like, you know, you left any questions on the table? Do you feel like you learned anything today that to improve upon in your next big interview?
I feel like I wish I had more time.
Yeah.
Because I had so many questions, and I studied all of his interviews and like the things more so like what he was saying and like but at the same time, if you know how to interview, if you're a media personality and you know how to host your show, I'm not going to interrupt him while he's giving his thesis on certain things, and
True.
I allowed it to just flow, and so I sat back and I personally felt like I was a part of the audience, just being allowed to ask the question, or pose a question to him. A lot of things that he said, like I didn't expect us to go into certain topics, but we did. But I think with Saylor, I'm definitely going to set up an interview that's 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, you need it. He could talk Saylor like forever.
But he's not just words. Like people are just word salad. Like he's actually he's thinking, and he's breaking things down to you, and he's excited about it too. And it's just not bullshit. Like you can tell, like he is, bro. Like Bitcoin, I breathe it. Like this is my life. Like, and you can see it. So,
you're right.
like somebody like me who's into Bitcoin, you tell people, hey, and this dude's on different levels, man. On different levels. Now we just need to get, the twins. I'm just saying the twins. Twins to come on.
No, yeah, that's. I mean,
Tyler Cameron.
You might. I'm trying. I'll do my best. I try my hardest for you.
The one thing I forgot to ask Saylor was, hey, so do you got a Gemini Bitcoin credit card?
He does have one.
See, I left questions on the table.
It's all right though. I feel like he does. I've actually seen him in I saw him at PubKey once with it. Yeah, but he actually uses it. Like it's pretty sick. Like he does love Bitcoin. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm also like
So let me ask you this question before you go. This is the question I want to ask you.
I have to leave?
No. I said before you go with your remark. My bad. Meaning like before you go with your take. If you were new tuning in, if you just came into crypto and you listened to that conversation, would you be more interested in Bitcoin?
If you're new, I feel like,
or it still left you.
It's a lot of. I think it's a lot of info. Like it's a lot of info, but I feel like once you break past, like he's gonna be the first person you probably look at to understand it. Because for example, my stepmom got into crypto, and Saylor was like she's like highly intelligent. Let's just say everyone she can palate like a lot of words. So like she actually like Saylor was like the reason she got into Bitcoin. Like she's like a maxi. Like she has a ton of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And Saylor is the reason she got into it. Like one of the main reasons. And like the conversations you had with him today are like the reasons why it like works for her. I don't think it's like, if you're an intellectual viewer, then like Saylor is a great entry point, like to understand like the conversations at which he describes it. If you're low IQ, which I mean, some people are on Twitter, so like probably more often than not, but like it's probably, but you need to understand like if you made it, like he's the guy, like you got to trust, like he's smart, like he gets it. So like even with that being said, like to condense it down, but I do think like the lower IQ people, they just need like us, like they need like someone to be like, tell them in 5 sentences how they're like why it's good. But like Saylor like is really good at converting people that are like on the fence, I think.
Yeah.
That are like, oh, like I don't know, I get Bitcoin from a financial perspective, but I don't like have faith. Yeah, and he can kind of push people over that ledge. Honestly, I said it in the chat, he's kind of like Bitcoin Jesus in a way.
It's funny. That's funny.
Because he does like he put like
if he's Bitcoin Jesus, am I Bitcoin Moses?
yes. Hard to seize. I'm just the guy. I'm the town scryer. I'm just like, yay.
You're just the guy at Gemini, like your bio says.
Yeah, I'm just that guy.
I just saw that. I was dying laughing because when I went to shoot you a DM, I was like, because I was like, yo, come on, and because I wanted to like, I know you watch.
Yeah, all the time. I'm here. I literally pull up every time that I'm like, if I'm not in a meeting, I'm here. Like whenever you're live, you're my daily entertainment.
Well, then, if you want intellectual talks, tune into Saylor. If you want low IQ stuff, tune into me. The Breakdown, episode 641.
No, but like I really do believe like there's like different entry points. Like I'm just kind of trolling with the IQ stuff, but like
no, but it's true because like he's talking at like an institutional level, right? Like he's talking to multimillionaires, billionaires. That's fair, right? I love to talk to everybody. Like there's a little difference there. So like there are people that they have no clue that the dollar's worthless, right? Like they're living in this fantasy world that's being sold to them by this wonderful centralized system that that they're currently in. I would like to say they're currently in because we've already unplugged ourselves, right? Yeah. We're out of the matrix, right? That's kind of the way I look at it. So there's a way that you have to go ahead and bring them in. Yeah. Because like it's kind of like when Neo woke up, like they were like, "Oh my God, we never break a mind when it's at this age or something like that." I think I'm paraphrasing there, but I think that's what they say like, when they wake up or they unplug Neo from the system. Yeah. And that's what happens to everybody here, right? Like it's like you unplug somebody. Well, man, they're too old to start learning this stuff, right? They're like, oh, they're not used to this. Yeah. What are you talking about? The dollar's worthless. The dollar's backed by gold. What? Bro, we haven't been backed by gold since 1971. What you talking about? So like the dollar's backed by debt. And you start telling them that the Federal Reserve is not a branch of the government. And they what are you talking about?
People don't know. You're right. Like people, like the average person doesn't understand like a lot how this country functions. They just understand how to open TikTok. And like that's but like to the point you say, like I think it's important to have. I think that's why it's good to have these type of shows and like what we do, and just over broader, like you got to hit all angles. Not everyone's going to be able to palate institutional talk, and then it's like kind of our jobs to like make that palatable to in a way. But this is like a complete I want to talk about this because it's on top of my mind. I've been like sweating about it. I don't know if you've obviously seen it, but the prediction stuff that we dropped.
I think it's awesome.
Dude, I got the Epstein. I'm like no on the Epstein files, and I'm sweating right now. I think at 3 they're about to just like release them, but I don't know. Like I never. It's a thrill ride. One, it's fun as hell, but it's also cool. Like you can. I've come from like traditional sports gambling. Oh shit! And then 1 second. I'm getting called now. I'm getting a live call on the Gemini. I'm on my like laptop. Hold up.
It's probably Olivia.
Wait. I don't. I'm on the stream. It's not Olivia. It's actually it's J Dog. It's Jeremy. I just dropped his name.
Shout out to J Dog.
J Dog Jeremy. Wait for it. But so have you checked? So checked it out. I'm on the like Epstein no side, and I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. Listen, I literally did it, and I looked at Twitter I'm not checking Twitter. I got conviction on no, and I look at Twitter 5 minutes later. All this info comes out. They're like, no, like it has to happen. Like the Democrats start posting all about how like they have to do it on the 19th. There's no if, and, or buts. All that. I'm like, and I literally see
Yeah.
I had 50 shot. I'm down 70% on my order already. Because it's like gonna come out today. Well,
But I think like prediction markets are a new asset class within the crypto ecosystem. Like for
Dude.
me, that's what I think. So
Yeah, they're cool. Like I think it's what I've never touched them before. It's my first time ever using it. I've never touched it. I never used any of the competitors that we have in this space. And this is my first time ever like buying it. I think what's interesting is like you say, it's kind of like an asset and you could hold it and then you could sell it. I like it long term. You don't have to think about it like, oh yeah, you could really play it and you could get out. Like, I could have got out and cut my losses, but I'm an idiot. I just thought like, you know what I mean? Like once I had the information, I'm riding it out, but
yeah,
it's cool. You can, and then you're up 10%, you can get out. Like you can just get out. There's no, you're not like sports gambling is so different. You're locked in. Like you're like stuck. You can't get out. You can't escape. So I think it's extremely interesting, but honestly, I never cared about the news as much, which I think is another segue. It's like, you see Saylor come on. I got a little prediction Bitcoin market play, and I'm like, okay, like I have faith again.
you should have went to the prediction markets and like been on like, is David going to absolutely bomb in this video? I mean, in this interview.
No, I would say yeah, I would put $1 million. I put my whole net worth on. You wouldn't bomb. This is you're talented, bro. There's no way you don't have to worry about that.
I appreciate you, Austin. You're a talented cat yourself, man. You've done a lot at Gemini to go ahead and, you know, give it a face. Seriously.
This face.
Yeah, that face.
I'm all puffy today. I was out pub key last night.
I'm sure. With who? With Moose?
No, it wasn't with Moose. I was with the team actually. I was with Olivia and the rest.
Olivia. Won't do an interview with me though. We'll do it with another network, but won't do it with me. Unbelievable. I don't know what I got to do out here, man. I don't know what I got to do.
Who knows? I've only had her on one stream too, but that was maybe we'll get her as a special guest. I'll interview her. We can do it together. Whoa, it's kind of stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Austin Oates. Follow him on. It's Austin Oates. It's actually at Austin Oates on X.
Oaks. No, I'm not.
Why do I say Oates?
It's
you know what? I don't know why I say Oates.
Is it because I'm white like Oates? Is it?
You remind me of Adam Oates. That's why.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Never mind. It's a hockey player. You weren't even born.
I know some hockey ball. I know what you're talking about.
Bro, you don't know who Adam Oates is.
He played on the Rangers, right?
No.
Wait.
He didn't play on the Ranger.
Where's he from? Oh, he's St. Louis. He played. He's Boston Bruins.
Austin, ladies and gentlemen, new trader. He says he's a
I'm documenting my journey. I have $700 loaded up in Solana and Pengu, and I also have prediction market plays now. It's all public. Everyone can see. I'm down 40%. So
big up to you, bro.
Teaching me
that sounds like the entire market.
I got in at a good time, didn't I, David? I got in at a good time.
Shout out to the prediction markets that came out on Gemini. First exchange to come out with prediction markets. Want to go ahead and put that out there.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Gemini. Big shout out. Hopefully one day, I'll get the voiceover.
You will.
Got him. Guys, you should tune into him. He's a great, definitely a great ambassador for this space. Talented, very talented. I call it how it is. I don't shit on people if they're good. If people are good and they know what they're doing, I never shit on them. If there are benefits of crypto, I always talk them up. I always do. I do. You should see some of the stuff Austin does. It's wild. This dude takes like trips to like different states. Stays up 48 hours, raising money, cutting his hair, getting his hair cut with rusty ass scissors. It's wild. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 641, sponsored by Gemini. We had Michael Saylor on today. We have more big time guests coming on. We have a lot more guests coming on. I want to give a big shout out to my creative guy that's behind the scenes, that works tirelessly, that really does give a shit about me. And that is M, Big M in the back. 100%, dude is literally on me. No Diddy, no baby oil, basically. But yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to all the people who tuned in, all the people who have DM'd me, everybody who is texting me. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you for tuning in. I don't know why you're giving me flowers, but saying nice things, saying nice words out there on social media. Thank you for acknowledging me. Okay. Thank you for finally saying that his show rocks. He's a great interviewer. He can sit down with anybody and chop it up, and he can make people say things and have a conversation, not an interview. I don't do interviews. Cameron and Tyler are next. Okay. Cameron and Tyler, you can't hide from me anymore. Okay, I will sleep outside the Gemini offices. I'm getting that interview. Shout out to the new family on TikTok. Everybody on TikTok that has been supporting me ever since I got on there, like maybe a week ago. You know, it started with a lot of hate. We'll continue with some hate, but a lot of haters converted to friends or friendlies, and we're having a good time, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about having a good time, having fun in finance, because finance is boring. So let's add a little fun to it. And a lot of you son of a bitches are just getting to know me on TikTok. A lot of you guys don't know me through a hole in the wall, and I understand. But like I always do, I'll win you over. We'll be back with a quote after this commercial break from Gemini.
Before Bitcoin, you would have bought bars of soap. You would have bought anything. You would have bought food. You would have bought bullets. You would have bought guns. Anything tangible that you can self-custody, you would have held. Now, after Bitcoin,
Bitcoin is competing with gold. It's competing with real estate.
But that being the case, the way I think about Bitcoin is it's a digital monopoly on capital. It's the world reserve capital network.
I don't give a shit about your short-term prediction. The ultimate goal is to get Bitcoin.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this episode was sponsored by Gemini. That's right. Go to gemini.com/David G to see the lineup of credit cards that Gemini has to offer, particularly the Bitcoin credit card. Go look at the Bitcoin credit card. Get up to 4% back on your purchases. Also, for anybody who's into XRP, they got the XRP credit card. Up to 4% back in XRP. And also Solana. Again, gemini.com/David G. And also, click my link. Sign up to Gemini using my link. That's right, with my pretty face on it. Click that link, trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. While terms, why did I say why term? Terms apply. Okay, I'm doing the quote of the day. And this is a long one. Okay, this is a long quote of the day, so hear me out on this one. Hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. By the way, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday. Happy holidays, by the way. Happy holidays. A lot of the interviews that I have had for this month, I had to reschedule for next month just because due to the holidays, obviously Hanukkah and Christmas and Kwanzaa. Again, I had to reschedule a lot of things. So, yeah, we'll have a huge lineup in January. So much respect to everybody. Thank you, everybody. I really do appreciate it. But here's the quote of the day. This is going to be long. This is going to be long. In the end, everything begins. I didn't understand this at first because it just sounds like something you'd hear the main character say in a movie. The kind of line that can slip by you if you aren't paying close attention. But then it hit me. It's actually a map, a shift in perspective that, if followed, can change your life. We were taught to fear endings, end of a year, end of a relationship, end of a dream you worked hard for. We treat the word end like it's a locked door. Like once something is over, there's nothing on the other side but loss. But that's not how this thing we call life actually works. Nothing new ever entered your life without something else closing first. You have never grown without outgrowing something else. You rarely learn without first being wrong. You don't become who you are without other versions of you dying along the way. When something ends, it doesn't erase the past. It completes that cycle. And completion is important because it creates space for something better. An ending isn't failure, it's just life saying you've taken this as far as it can go. So when you're in those moments of completion, stop asking yourself, why did this happen? And start asking yourself, what did this make possible? Then step back and watch the magic that happens next. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. That quote, though it was long, it hits. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to Michael Saylor. Thank you to his staff for setting up the conversation. I don't want to call it an interview, the conversation. Thank you for Gemini for sponsoring the show. Thank you for all the people out there, my entire audience that has been following me since 2016 as I started my journey in podcasting. Thank you so much for staying on, staying with me, believing in me. I appreciate you very, very much. Okay. To the new people tuning in that don't know me yet, I promise you I will deliver content that will make you laugh, cry, and bring some value to your life. That I can promise. Happy holidays to all, by the way. Happy holidays to all. I hope you guys take some time and chill out with your families and just relax. That's right. Because we can take a few hours to breathe. Go work out, go touch some grass, do something, and then you can get right back on it. Okay. I think we're going to have a phenomenal Q1 in 2026. I think it's going to be electric. I'm extremely bullish. Stay patient. Patience is key. Patience is key to winning. That's all I can say. And on Bitcoin, regardless of what other assets we all hold, when it comes to Bitcoin for me opened up my eyes to what the world really looked like. That's what Bitcoin did. It really opened up my eyes to the world that we really live in, the centralized world that, they talk about opportunities and all, but they're not real opportunities. They're not. And I've talked about that multiple times. So I would encourage everybody to just look into the beginning of this entire ecosystem. Look into Bitcoin. Look into everything. Study everything. Question everything. Make yourself better, man. That's it. And you know what? There's enough room at the table for everybody. There's no need to bicker with people. You can go ahead and sit at the same table and you can win together. The biggest thing is that I hope that retail wins. That's always been my biggest goal, is to make sure that retail wins. No disrespect to the institutions that have kept retail in a fog, but I hope retail comes out the winners here. I really do. Anyway, once again, thank you to everybody who participated. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. I will see you on Monday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got guests We got a few guests again. Like I said, we rescheduled for January, but we'll end the year with some people coming in. So and chatting it up. So on that note, thank you again. Thank you so much. And on that note, I'm out. And this show, 641, was sponsored by Gemini. Go to gemini.com/David G to look up to see the lineup of credit cards that Gemini has to offer. Also, click on my link. If you haven't signed up to an exchange, go look at Gemini, go look at my click the link, sign up, trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. Thank